And guess who is finally here? I don't know what I did to my settings, but man, this camera part looks. I don't know what I did, but anyway, I made it here, but it's just this image looks a little janky. Um, I decided for topic Thursday, we would talk about who knows what's going on. You know, the internet is so just so. Um, we need to talk about the issue with control because all over, I like to look on social media, even if I don't, I guess they call it lurking. I'm a lurker. So I go and I look on certain threads and stuff that people post, a lot of the ones the guys post. And they're always trying to tell women what to do. They're trying to tell you how you're wrong, how you're responsible for what they do, how you should do what they say, how you're too independent, how y'all don't want to listen to nobody. You got too much attitude. You don't submit. You always got something to say. These are some phrases I just heard just today. Oh, from someone from the UK. Wow. What time is it over there? So, I thought, wow, and I know everyone has stories of when a man that you loved was attempting to control you. Some women see that kind of, those kind of demands and limits being placed on them as him caring. But in reality, what he's just trying to do is put his thumb on your neck, his foot rather on your neck. And it's I don't know. I just hate being controlled. I just hate people telling me what to do. Men or women, don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear it. I will make up my own mind what I want to do. If it's over the top, I don't want them to control me at all. Don't even think about trying to control me because that'll get you terminated. Control your damn self. That's all you really can handle. But when these guys, you get in these relationships, right? And they start telling you what you can wear, how you need to wear your hair. You can't cut your hair. You need to, not dress this way. You wear too much makeup. You can't have male friends. You can't go anywhere. You can't do nothing. You need to be at home all the time. You can't go out with your friends. You have to ask for permission. Women have to ask permission to spend money and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, what the? But this is so common. And the control can take place in very small ways, or it can be very overt, where you get pummeled if you try to do something outside of outside of what he wants you to do. I gotta turn my phone off. God, I always forget. And then it starts wanting to talk to you and have conversations, sidebars and whatnot. Because I have it set for voice commands, and it hears me talking, and it thinks that I wanted to do something. Turn off, yes. Okay. Well, they do try to do that. It's 3:04 a.m. Oh my God. 2 in the morning? Wow. Well, this you say that's an insecure man, but I'm going to tell you what. This is 99% of men. They want to have control. Now, sometimes they think they have control because they are male. They think they have control because you're their woman. Some of them want to have control in like every way possible. I mean, they do it at work. They do it to complete strangers. What do you think a man is when he walks up to you and commands you to smile? He's attempting to control you. You guys don't not thinking it's in a grand scale that I'm thinking. When a guy gets mad because he tries to holler at you and you don't respond, he's attempting to control you. When these guys come on the channel and they get mad because women don't respond to them the way that they want to, and they turn into these incels and whatnot, they're angry because you're not under their control. You're not giving them what they want, the way they want it, when they want it, and why they want it. You're not following the script, you see. And that's control. So you guys feel free as I go through. Is possessive an alternative of controlling? Yes, absolutely. It's like it definitely projects a lot of insecurity. You know, they're trying to like keep everybody away from you. And the only way that they can do that is to exert control. Because if you were to maintain those friendships and be as social as you were and wear everything that you wore and all that stuff, then, and go places and talk to everybody and all that stuff, they wouldn't need to be, quote, possessive. They would just be like, whatever, I'll see you when you get back. But the fact that they want to exert control and tell you well, I'd be worried. They try to package it in a way to make it seem like it's flattering. I'm worried about you. It's not I'm worried about you. I'm worried about the other people and how what they might do and all this stuff. You don't get your notifications. Why not? Did you check the bell symbol? Is that like not working or something? Let me get some of my water. Yeah, that is insecure. But the way that they try to alleviate their insecurity is by getting the upper hand, which is control. So insecurity is definitely, like she says, a part of the package of control. You rather let him take charge? Well, it depends on what you mean by that and how he does that. Now, there's some things he may take the lead on, like if you planning a date or something like that. You ask me out, well, you need to plan a date. You take charge of that. But as far as you taking charge of like my wardrobe, how I look, what makeup I wear, what I eat, all that kind of stuff, no, you're not going to take charge of that. You're going to take charge of yourself. So, there's certain parts of things. Yeah, they do that check-in thing because they say that they are worried. That's what I say. They try to package it in a way to make it sound palatable, so the woman will be like, broad brainwashed and thinking that she's doing something and that he really cares. He don't give a fuck. He just wants to control you. So if he says call me every 2 hours and you do, then he's controlling you. You don't need to call him every 2 hours. What is wrong with him? They don't even do that on parole. Call every 2 hours. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a fine line, and I'm not even trying to get up close to that line. It's like, no. You take charge. There you go. You take charge of these bills. That's what you do. You just be the man all over there, all up and down that. You just take that and you just run with it. But as far as anything to do with me and how I live my life and the choices that I make for myself, you don't get to tell me what to do. But unfortunately for a lot of women, um, uncheck and then recheck the bell. That's a good idea. I don't know if I want them to do that either, bed winch, because then the next thing you know, you be having something going on that you're not really comfortable with, but you have to deal with it because he took charge and he has control. Nope. We're going to always discuss this, and it's going to be a mutual decision what we do. So I don't know. I'm not down with that because I can give too many examples um, that doesn't that's not a good idea. Okay, now let's talk about this. What are controlling people? A lot of them are, I was doing all this reading online, and it seems like the overwhelming two adjectives rather that you can ascribe to them is they're very immature because they don't have much emotional intelligence. They're like toddlers in a big body. The other thing that I think is a part of the controlling is the narcissism. It's very self-centered. Everything is about them, what they want, what makes them comfortable, what they like, how they like it. Is all about you giving them what they want, even if it means that you sacrifice yourself to do it. Now, let me look at my little notes here. How do people control? Let's talk about some of the ways that men control women, or women can control men too. This is a good one. Moodiness. Moodiness. People who say, well, I'm real moody. Okay, what does that mean? That means I'm going to hurt every feeling you ever had because I don't give a shit about your moods. because this is like, if somebody tells you that I'm really moody or I'm in a bad mood, and it's all the time where you start cowering and not saying what you want to say and not doing what you want to do in the house because you scared they gonna say something because they are get them in a quote bad mood. And so they are essentially controlling you by using the threat of negative emotions. See, and a lot of women, they feel like, oh well, I don't want him to be mad. I'm like, let me hurt your feelings. Let me make you mad. Let me do that right now because you made the fatal mistake of telling me, trying to threaten me with your moods. Oh no, no, nigga, no. That is not happening. I'm not going to go for that. I'm not going to tolerate that. And if you try to use that kind of threat against me, you can bet the next thing you about to do is be in a bad mood because I'm going to chew on you like there's no tomorrow. Overcompensating, that's for something else they have no control over. I don't even think it's that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. They feel the need to control because they're insecure about everything, especially their affection. Like a lot of guys, once they put some affection into a woman, it throws them off because they feel like they're losing control of themselves. So when they're losing control of themselves, it's about you. They want to get control over you to kind of calm that fear in themselves. It has nothing to do with life, jobs, and all that stuff. You put way too much on it. It ain't even all like that. He's got some feelings about you, and he don't know what to do with them or how to handle them. And the best way to make himself feel safe emotionally is to make you predictable. And to make you predictable, that means he has to have the upper hand, which means he has to have control over what you do, what you say, where you go, and who you associate with. So, don't be making all them excuses for them. It ain't that serious. It's not, it ain't even that deep. This is all about themselves and their emotional weakness. Bipolar disorder, I don't even know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm not dealing with it. That's all I know. You be just as emotional as you want to be, if that makes you happy. But I had a boyfriend like that. And he would be like, we did not last long. But he was like, we'd be having a perfectly nice evening, right? And all of a sudden, he would like, the switch would flip. And he would start, just being all moody and giving short answers, just acting all stupid. And, I used to just look at him because his sister later told me that he was used to women. He had, really good looking guy. And he was used to women like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? How can I make it better? What's going on? Why are you mad at me? I just looked at him and was like, well, I guess I'll go now because you in a fucked up mood and I'm not trying to be around somebody in a fucked up mood on a Friday night. And I would get my keys in my purse and I would walk out the door. I wasn't thinking about him. So he, soon learned that those tricks didn't work on me, but the fact that he was even trying them, that just turned me off. And so we broke up. I was just like, ew, you stupid. I can't with people like that. Okay, so that moodiness. And a lot of times, they will hit you with this stuff like they attempt to control you. And I talked about this in the 25 video series, where they start bringing up shit that happened to them in the past, right? So they start lamenting all the women who cheated on them, or how, women took their money, or how some woman broke his heart when he was 4, or some ancient history stuff. They start crying about that all over again and getting themselves. It's like it just happened this morning, at 10 o'clock this morning, the way that they get so emotionally worked up about it. Now, you like this dude, right? So you see all of this happening. So what you do, this is a fatal mistake you all make by the millions, you do this, you're just like, trying to like kiss up to him and say, oh my God, well, I won't treat you like that other woman. I'm not. And even if you don't say those words, your behavior is showing that that's what you're thinking, right? So he got you over a barrel. So anytime he says something that he didn't like that some other woman did, he knows he can make you do the complete opposite because you're trying to make sure that you're not like that other woman. So he easily gets control of you just by using this, triangulation off of some man some woman rather, that you don't even know, ain't never seen, and don't even know if she really exists. Just straight gang. Say you need a therapist, you need a bullet to the head. That's what you really need. It's just, yeah, those are the two things. When I was reading all the stories, because they have these things when women post stories about it, and that seemed to be when I was writing down like my impression of the people's personality. In each case, I mean, those were the ones that had the highest votes for me. Let me put it that way. Those two, you know. So let's move on. Um, they also, oh yeah, when people get moody, they get upset when they feel like you're not paying enough attention to them, right? You're not paying enough attention, and they're gonna either act out or try to make a fight or something like, everybody else more important to you than your man. What kind of woman is you? This and that. They don't make women like they used to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so then you like start, flipping out, running around in circles because you don't want them to be mad. And I'm like, shit, let them be mad. Say, no, I'm not like them other women. You don't like it, there's a door. You know how to get through it. Just don't be worrying about what I do. Because I was doing this before I met you, and I'm going to be doing it when you leave. All right, so let's talk on about the other thing. What if they have a bad temper? They have a bad temper, so they try to control you with their tempers. Okay, now moodiness is another aspect of that, but temper is that's where they start throwing shit, punching their hands through walls, or getting up in your face and nostrils flaring, spittle coming from their mouth. Oh, I do? Thanks for telling me. I appreciate it. It's the biggest one you've ever seen? I have to go onto YouTube so I can see it. I'm using like a third-party chat software so it can pull in people from Twitch and from YouTube. So I don't get to see the super chats using this. I get to deal with all of you people, but I don't get to see the super chats anymore. I noticed that. So if it wasn't for my lovely friend here telling me, thank you, Naya. What? What? That is the biggest super chat I've ever seen. Wow. Girl? Well, I guess she definitely coming to the private chat. We're going to have a private chat on the 14th of October just for the Patreon people and the donators of, on, what you call it? What is this thing? I'm so flustered now I can't even talk. Super chat. And you will definitely get an invitation. So please make sure that I have your email address. Write to me because I don't know if they give it to me on super chat. survivingdating@gmail.com. Let me know. I don't care if it's in rupees or pennies or whatever. Yeah, it's not. Wow. He texted you saying that you were busy and ignoring him. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So you're supposed to put down everything because I'm telling you, they act like children. That's where the immaturity comes in. They're very demanding and like to throw a lot of little, tantrums and stuff. So, if they're making threats or they're trying to bully you or they actually do things that scare you, like kick your dog, break a wall, bust a chair over something, do something crazy like the same guy I was telling you about. I had a new car and driving back the first time he was in my car, he went and, tried to smash the steering wheel into the car into the cement pillar that was a support post for his of his apartment. Well, that's still a wonderful thought. So anyway, okay, so then we move on to talk about how they react. Okay, you ask them just a normal question, like, I don't know, where were you earlier? Or where are you? They call you like, oh, where are you at? Something like that. And they just start flipping out and being all defensive and crazy and stuff and just saying, oh, I'm at work. Oh, I'm at the grocery store. I'm at such and such. It's not like you trying to, pin them down and ask them, you're not trying to like keep tabs on them. It's just something that people do. I mean, you're on the phone, you're like, oh, where you at? I mean, you hear strange noises, or it's just unusually quiet. I mean, whatever is the issue, you just normally answer as part of the conversation. But they just go flip out and just make this whole big deal. And so what they're doing is getting you used to the fact that you better not ask me nothing about where I am. So you see what I mean? By overreacting, over dramatizing your question, they teach you not to ask questions because you don't want to deal with that kind of drama. What instead you should do when they act like that, you act like that. So you up the ante, you escalate. So he starts going off talking about, why you asking me that, and you just start losing your mind. It's like, motherfucker, every time I ask you a fucking ask a question, it's blah, blah, blah. You always got to go, okay, just give him fire. I'm telling you, fight fire with a flamethrower. So he acts stupid, you escalate the stupidity up 10 notches and give him a dose of that. And then every time he does that, you do that. I'm like, of course they do. They be that, or they be at their boy's house getting ready to do something they know they don't have no business doing. I mean, they might not be at a woman's house, but it might be something coming over to meet him at his boy's house. He doing some gambling. He's doing something that he shouldn't be doing, and that's why he don't want you to know where he is. And it's like they don't like. I mean, I knew a girl, this woman who was married to this dude, and he hated questions. You know why he hated them? And he actually told her. Um, he says, I don't want you in my head like that. So he wanted to have walls up. This was his wife now. He wanted to have walls up to where she didn't really know him. And that made him feel safer to be hiding like that. And so he had total control over her because she never could ask him anything. She didn't know what he thought about anything. She just, I mean, I don't know what kind of marriage that was, but to tell you the truth, but I'm like, what the hell? That was kind of wild. Yes, I'm very petty. I told you there's a whole video on here about the petty way is the best way. How you think I made that video? Because I know. You cussed your husband out, honey? Yes, that's what you got to do. Sometimes, I told y'all about the dude and the first time he came over here and spent the night. And I was all bent out of shape. And he waking up in the morning talking about what's for breakfast. I'm like, motherfucker, whatever you cook. Be telling me to cook. What the fuck? I look like Mabel? Blah, 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 blah. I just went off on him. So he was like, okay. And so then he got up and cooked. Just don't be asking me nothing. It's about doing some work for you. What I look like? You paying me? I mean, really? That ain't happening. All right. So, yeah, they don't like that. They don't like to answer questions because they want to have the upper hand. Now, what they also do is they will ask you a lot of questions, though. They will ask you a lot of questions because they're trying to get a handle on how you work and how you think. And if they don't like how you think, then they're going to start telling you, well, you shouldn't think like that, or you're thinking wrong about that, or why, there's going to be some criticism about it, so that you start changing your opinions or the way that you voice them or something, because he's going to want the upper hand. He's going to want you to think the way that he wants you to think and say the things that he wants you to say, because as I said earlier, that makes you predictable. And when you are predictable and he feels like he can know everything you're going to do and everything you're going to say, everything you're going to wear, every person you're going to be around, and every place you're going to go, then he feels emotionally safer. Because in reality, he's a coward. He's a little chicken, big baby with the emotional intelligence of a worm. And so that's why, shit, even if we are married, don't ask me for shit. Do it yourself. You're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to be the leader. You want to be the head of shit? Go and do it. Do it yourself. Do it for yourself and then do it for me too. Since you're supposed to be your woman. You're supposed to be taking care of me and shit. Do it. Then the main number one way you need to watch out, the thing you need to watch out for is men who refuse to listen when you say no. You say no, and what happens? That is beginning of a negotiation for a control freak. That's what they want. They want to negotiate. So you say, well, No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I don't like that. Whatever it is. No, you say no. Why not? Now, this is where a lot of you go wrong. See, the first question, he says, why not? Now, there's a fork in the road. Remember, I told you the other day how there's always a door. There's 1 to 3 doors, usually, sometimes more, that you can choose to walk through. Okay? Now, the door in the middle doesn't open. That's the door that you should choose. That door says, because I fucking said no. And that's all you have to say. But you will choose door number 1, where you start going through this long-winded explanation trying to justify the reasons why you said no and, quote, make him understand. So you way down the road over there, sit 20 miles away, still talking about why you saying no, and, he's still needling and whining at you about why you should change your mind. Then door number 3 is the one where you say, okay, maybe I'll try it then. Okay, so you're not explaining why you said no, and you not at door 2 where Deb is, where I said no, and that's the end of the conversation. You in door number 3 where you're letting him talk you into giving him what he wants. See, that's where the door number 1 and door number 3 are the wrong doors to go through, because he gonna circumvent around, and before you know it, you're gonna be doing what he wants you to do, if for no other reason than you just want him to shut up and stop asking you. And that's what they go for. Yeah, I'm just telling you, just say shit, no, fuck no, hell no, none of that. This is whatever. And then stop listening. Just like change the subject and talk about something else. Because I've said no, and that's the end of it. There will be no negotiation about this, no further conversation about this. I said no, and that's what I meant. All you're going to hear is me saying no 55 million more times, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to just record it and press play. Play, 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 play. Just keep mashing that button. It's going to play, 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 play over and over until you get it. So that's a big one, ladies. That's a big one. You tell him, no, I don't want to eat that. No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't like that outfit. No, I'm not cutting my hair like that. No, I don't like that couch. No, I don't like that apartment. No, 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 no. And yet somehow, for some of you, he still gets his way. That's when you have to know that you've messed up big time, and he has control. He has total control. No man should ever get control, ever. They don't know what to do with it. These are the ones who then you let them have control. These are the ones that, be barebacking, and the next thing you know, you have some dreadful disease or a baby by some ugly fool. And then you sitting up there looking all confused and twisted because you didn't say no. Or you said no and then you gave in. Y'all be just like spineless. All they got to do is just keep asking you. Then you do the same shit with your kids. Your kids say, Mommy, can I have this? I want that. Okay, the first thing you say is no. But some of you say it so weak. Oh, no, we don't have any money. See, you are back at door number 1. You're going through all this long-winded explanation. We don't have money because Mommy had to buy all the groceries and everything, and we had to get your new shoes and your books and everything for school. And kid don't care about all of that. The kid just wants the toy, okay? And you said no, okay? But then you give all this explanation and done all this stuff. So then what you have to do is understand, if you're going to eventually give in, just stop saying no. If you know you're going to give in, if they ask you enough times, you're going to fold like a bad poker hand, then just don't even say no. Just say okay from the outset, because that's what you're going to get around to. Your no's don't mean shit. That's what that means. So you're just wasting breath even saying no. So accept that about yourself if that's you. You don't know how to say no. They ain't even MGTOWs. They NIGTOWs. They just, knucklehead, average dude on the street. They all want control. Even, like sometimes, you have these bosses at your job. Now, they have a certain amount of control because they are in a position where, they have to perform to a certain level, and you're there to assist them in whatever capacity you have. You could be a manager reporting to them. Whatever. But you have deliverables, and so they have to be somewhat in control because they're dishing out what they want everybody to do, and they have expectations and all this stuff, right? But when you have a boss who is a micromanager, okay, now they supposed to be in their office doing something, and here they are out at your desk or in your office, in your cubby, whatever, and trying to tell you how to do the work. like, how to set up a letter if you a secretary, or how to, open up files if you a file clerk. They just might, just go in your office over there somewhere and let this person do their job. They know what they're doing. But a lot of men are like that too. The woman's cooking something. Oh, my mama didn't make it like that. Well, then you could get that bitch over here and let her cook it then. I would throw that whole shit on the floor and walk the fuck out. It's like, you want to talk about your mother? Get her over here to cook your shit then. That's what you need to do. Yes, Nigtal. I'm not doing, don't say, I'm telling you, don't say nothing to me. Do not try to control anything I do. Don't do that. That is a fatal mistake so many men make with me. And they get that, like, they get the instant boot because it's like a switch goes off in me somehow. I don't know. I just get turned off. And I mean, like, off, like a light switch off. And, and then the bulb blew out. And so usually it's not coming back on ever. It's just not going to happen. Let me turn my lamp on. There we go. That's better. It's getting a little dusky here. All right. So now we talked about control. Now let's talk about how they talk to you. Because a lot of you are approval seekers, right? You want the man to be complimentary and you want the man to say nice things to you. So you put yourself in a position where he's controlling you by what he says, the words he uses. Either he can, build you up and say, you were great today, you did this and that, you were wonderful. But it's always about some shit that you did that's what he wanted you to do. So it's like positive reinforcement for the controlling efforts that you let him have over you, the controlling power that you allowed him to have. So that's what that's what he's complimenting you on. Oh, let me see what else I wrote down here. Oh, oh, okay. Um, what happens when they're talking to you and, you say something that they don't like? You say you have an opinion that they don't like. Let me tell you about this one dude that I knew. His wife, they were talking about, here they are with 2 or 3 kids or something, and they were talking about Oprah and how Oprah, this was a while ago, Oprah had opened up that school in Africa for those girls. Remember that? And he was criticizing her going over to Africa and doing anything, saying, well, she should have been spending her money here. What about the kids here? And, why is it only girls? It should be boys too, and all this old stuff, right? And so his wife, who is Indian, by the way, he's black and she's, from Pakistan or something. She actually spoke up, which I was very proud of her because she usually was very quiet. But it was like a group of people there, together. She had made dinner and everybody sitting around talking. And so she says, well, I admire Oprah and I think that she did the right thing. Honey, let me tell you how mad dude got, because he took it as she was insulting him because she had an opinion that was different from his. I have never in my life, and had known this man for years. I kind of faded his ass out after this, but I had known him for years and I had never seen him act like this. He jumped up and he started like going off, like, how dare you, talking to her like, how dare you disagree with me, and blah blah blah, all this stuff, and I'm the man of this house. I mean, he had like all this ego and stuff. It tied into the fact that this woman had an opinion that was different from his. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. We all just sat there and stared at him with disbelief. I just have never seen anybody act like that. It was unbelievable. So, that is what I mean when I'm talking about how they talk to you. Their goal is to get you to always agree with them because that shores up their ego and makes them feel like they're right? Because you got like this little cheerleader over here. Bob, honey, you're right. You're so smart. You do everything well. You're the best. You're so awesome. That's what they want to hear. So by telling you certain things and to elicit a positive response from you, that's what they hope that you would, mirror it back to them. So they say, oh, you're so beautiful. And then you're supposed to say, hey, you're so handsome. This kind of stuff. They want, yeah, we don't talk about that fool. Don't talk about him. I hate him. I don't want any landscape used for him. He's like gross. and disgusting. Yeah, he's below beta. He just like zeta or something. All right, now let's talk about how they handle power, like power distribution. Um, like where you're supposed to have some input about something, right? It's supposed to be a mutual decision. And I was talking to this guy about that. I don't know, this was years ago. I used to talk to this dude, and he was telling me how he thought, you said something, it's good, you gotta always find out how a motherfucker thinks. Good looking dude, very successful, and all of this stuff. We had very interesting conversations. All that was good. But then this happened. Okay, so he's talking about, uh, how his ideal situation as far as, relationship, marriage would go. And he's like, well, like for instance, I have to have the final say. And I'm like, you do? I'm like, okay, I'm like, tell me more. What does this mean? We get ice cream and I want vanilla and you want chocolate, so we settle on strawberry. I mean, what does this mean? So he's like, well, for instance, if I'm married and we're gonna pick a place where we're gonna buy a house, and I want it in a certain neighborhood, then that's where we're gonna get the house. I said, okay, so what are you basing it on? Just because you just the man and you think that that's how it's supposed to be? I said, women think about a whole bunch of stuff that men don't think about. Like, is the neighborhood safe? How close is it to schools? Are the kids gonna be able to walk to school? Or are they gonna be able to walk by themselves? Is she gonna have to drive them to school? How far away is it from your job? So in case there's an emergency, one or both of you can get to the child. How close is your house to a hospital? How far away is it from your dentist, your parents, your doctors that you're used to going to? Where is this? What the neighbors like? I just read off the top of my head, right? Just like this, just rattled off a whole bunch of stuff. And he sat there looking at me. Well, I said, no, I know you don't men don't think about those things. You're thinking about, I'm the man and I want to make the choice because I'm the man. And I'm telling you, that's the wrong way to do it. If your wife is tasked with taking care of the household and being there by herself with those small children, you need to build her in an environment where it's not going to be some people busting in the place doing a home invasion and all this old crazy stuff. So you got to think about stuff like that, because he was like, well, it could be in the hood, it's no big deal because I'm gonna be home at night. But I'm like, he just dude had his own business. He worked all the time. So it's like, you're not going to be there. This woman's going to be in that place by herself, living in a neighborhood with nignogs. I don't think so. And so that moment, that one conversation ended my interest in him. It was it. I'm telling you, it's like a switch flipped. Any interest I had in him dried up and blew away. And, it's just like I'm telling you, ladies, you got to talk to these dudes and get them in different conversations and, propose situations and see how they think about them and see if that's a good match. Because, see, I already knew. I would shoot him if he came and be like, they're trying to make me live in the hood around a bunch of knuckleheads. I'm not loud music and stuff. No, Deb doesn't do those kinds of things. I like quiet. That's why I like the suburbs. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. I just want peace. And, a situation like that, that would not be acceptable. Right. That's not acceptable neighborhood for children. Especially he making all that money, and I wouldn't be I'm not gonna make chump change. So I mean, what's the point of putting somebody in the hood? What are you doing that for? Just so you have a whole bunch of money in the bank and everybody's scared to go in and out the house, ducking and dodging bullets at night and stuff? No. No. So that's what I'm saying. So if you have somebody who can't even give that amount of power to you, and he's trying to control and dominate something that's that important, like where you live and where your babies go to school, and with no concern, no input from you, no worry about any of the things that I rattled off. I'm telling you, just looked at me like a deer in headlights, because none of those things had crossed his mind. And I'm still to this day sometimes wonder, okay, when you was making this decision about, decided that you want to be the one to make the decision about where everybody lives and stuff, what was your criteria? I forgot to ask him that, because I just, dismissed dude and I was done. But it would have been a good thing for me to not be so temperamental and to find out what it was that he thought, was going to happen. I'm telling you, I don't know. I was just like, this is wild. Okay, so now when somebody is controlling, this is something that we have run into online, ladies. Their relationships are not democracies, they are dictatorships. Okay? And what we have when we see these dudes online, one of the things that they do when they get into a disagreement with you is you're the problem. It's always your fault. It's never their fault. They never take any responsibility. How many brothers do we run into online that have that attitude? Everybody raise your hand because we know that's what we see day in and day out. That's all they do. They don't want to be responsible for nothing. And the typical number one thing they be whining about is how many, women. This dude was discussing with him today. He was like, well, all these single parent homes is because of women. I'm like, okay, because you didn't know that, sticking that in there would make a baby. You didn't know that. Well, why did she let him? I said, why did y'all beg for her to let you? Well, but she should have said no. I said, a lot of them do say no, and then you stealth the condom off. So everything he said, I had a retort for it. And it's stuff that actually happens, it's stuff they actually do. And, it's like, well, you women, this and that. I said, but, look at how many teenage girls get pregnant by men in their 20s and 30s. Those are babies. They don't know any difference. So they don't even, half of them probably don't even know about birth control and stuff yet. But here they are getting victimized by these grown men. Now, what you think about that? So we was going back and forth until I got tired of it. Then I blocked them. That was just ridiculous. They don't want to be responsible for anything. Um, Another thing that they do is to try to drive a wedge between you and the people that you are close to. Why? Because they want all your attention, and they also want to isolate you from other opinions and to remove anybody that could provide you with assistance and get you away from them. I'm telling you, the number one reason that, somebody saying it was because of all these other reasons, it's not any of those things. It's just because of their fear of being emotionally devastated. That's the only reason they go through all of this. They are terrified of getting their feelings hurt, terrified of, losing the love that they think they have, or, being like, feeling emotional pain. That is the scariest thing in the world to these guys. And so they go through all these changes to try to control you in order to avoid having to experience that kind of pain. So they tend to be very jealous, very, as one lady called it, possessive, but it's all in the same basket. They, want to just do all your, control everything about you using your fear of losing a relationship, number one. And another thing that they do is, that's what I lost my train of thought. The thing about causing trouble between you and your friends. I think we talked about that in the letter the other day, where this her boyfriend slash half boyfriend, on and off boyfriend, hit on one of her friends, one of her good friends, best friend, I think she said. And the friend declined, what he was talking about, but he still did it, and he got her all mad, right? She's mad, she's writing this letter. But the bottom line is he did that on purpose because he didn't like you having somebody in your corner, somebody's shoulder to cry on, somebody to hang out with, somebody to laugh with, someone who you enjoyed and someone who you loved who wasn't him. That's how insecure he was. So that's why he did that. That's the only reason he did that. That's why they always do stuff like that. They want to drive a wedge. They start telling you about who don't like you and your family. I don't think your mama likes me, this and that. And so then you be dumb and you be like, well, it's just me and you. We just won't go over there then. I just won't talk to her. What you're supposed to do is if he says something like that, say, really? I better go talk to her and find out why, because she might see something in you that I don't know, I didn't understand was there yet. You don't let him threaten you with that. Just call his bluff. He's trying to say that she don't like me. Well, she must have a reason, and I need to find out what it is, because maybe I won't like you so much either. You see what I'm saying? You don't let them get away with that nonsense. Yeah, they're so overly emotional. They keep them pregnant. Well, it makes them easier to control because, think about how vulnerable you feel when you're pregnant. Your primary focus is on protecting that fetus. And it's like it's biological. It's really like it's primal. I mean, it's nothing you can really do about it. It just happens, and that's what you focus on, and they know it. That's where your attention is, and so they use that against you as a power play. um Another thing that you want to do is, I mean, that you experience is that they'll be very generous to you at first, right? They're gonna give you the world, and then just like they show on TV where they had a full table and the person yanks that tablecloth and yanks it out, that would be you. Because first, you think you're gonna have this luxurious tablecloth with linen and all this full setting and all this stuff, and then they yank that tablecloth and some old cracked wood, splintered up wooden table underneath it, and that's what you left with a raggedy ass relationship. But they want to do that because they basically are setting you up so you get dependent on that, right? It's just another way to yank your chain and control you. So then once you get dependent on it, you get used to it, then they start using it to control you. So they give you a credit card and everything. Then now they're going to start threatening to take it back. They used to give you all this money, but now he wants receipts and he wants his change. And he used to, drive you places, this and that. Well, now, I don't know, I don't feel like it out, because you didn't really act right today. So I think you could just take the bus, that kind of stuff. So all before he was Mr. Lovely, Mr. Johnny on the spot. He was calling every day. Well, now well, I didn't like how you did such and such, and so that's why I didn't call you this morning. So of course you're used to hearing him call, to call at a certain time, and he didn't do it, so you miss it. So it's just a way. I'm telling you, it's just a way for them to mess with your head and get you to do what they want you to do the way that they want you to do it. It's all about control. I probably can't even think about um, all the ways that these guys will try to control women. I mean, I have a bunch of notes, but um, hmm, I think another, and this is what men do. Like you ask, sometimes you don't even ask for advice. You just be talking about something that happened, right? And then you start jumping in and trying to tell you how to fix what they perceive to be the problem. Well, you never asked them to fix the problem. You just talking. You just venting, right? And they, telling you what you did wrong and how you could do better and you should have fixed it and all this stuff. Ultimately, you get angry and you don't want because he's not giving you what you want. You just wanted a sounding board, maybe some sympathy or empathy or whatever. And he's up there telling you what you did wrong, correcting you and making all these suggestions and stuff. So of course that's not what you were there for. That's not what you wanted from him. That's not what you needed from him. So he's giving you all these suggestions and then you don't take them. A controlling person will get absolutely upset and livid that you didn't take their suggestion. You didn't do what they told you to do. It's like it's your life. I mean, even here, I mean, people write me and ask me what they should do. They ask because they respect my opinion. But you know what? In the end, they're going to make the decision of whether to follow that script or modify the script or leave the script alone altogether. But it's their life. I mean, what would I look like trying to be mad because they didn't do what I suggested that they do? I mean, if they come back whining about it, well, I didn't listen, and now this and other thing happened. Okay, well, now I'm going to get mad because now you wasted my time, and now here you are back again, still wanting something that you're probably not going to listen to either. So just go away, leave me alone. In an instance like that, so you dig in this hole for yourself, and then you made a bigger problem than the first one, and now you want me to help you solve the bigger problem that you wouldn't have had if you had followed the advice that I gave you in the first place after you asked me. I didn't go looking for you. I didn't try to interject my opinion on you. Nothing. You came to me. So, I mean, it's a different situation. And, but for the most part, I mean, people do what they going to do. I just be looking at them. I'm like, okay, whatever works for you. That's good. That's going to be, you're going to be the one suffering the repercussions for that, not me. All right. So, oh, they impose rules on you, right? That you need to follow. A perfect example of one is these guys that text you, right? They text you. Now you at work. You might even be in a meeting. You might be at gym in a step class. You might be, I don't know, at somebody's hospital, visiting a hospital who just had a baby, or somebody who's, getting treatment or had a surgery or something. In other words, you're doing something that's important to you in your life in that moment, and he's not the key person, important person right now. They text you, or and then you don't text them back within 0.25 seconds, they lose their minds, start sending you all kind of crazy texts talking about you don't love them no more, and this kind of what kind of relationship is this, and you must be with some end, and all kind of stuff, all kind of crazy stuff comes out of their mouth because they feel insecure about the fact that you didn't like jump up and put them first and just start texting like a mad crazy woman. I mean, shoot, you could have been on the toilet. Anything could have been why you didn't get back to him right away. You know what I mean? Like, you just living your life just to sit around and text him. But that's how they are. That's their rule. If I text you, you have to text me back right away. If I call you, you need to call me back right away. What other kind of rules they have? Uh, a lot of times they'll ask for proof. All right, now they know they did something. They know they said something. They know that it's that way because you have said it and they absolutely know it. But in order to win the argument and try to make you shut up, they ask you to provide them with proof. Have you noticed that online? Women will say this and that and blah, blah, blah. This happened to you. This is as realistic as you can get. This is a first person story, right? This is your story. This is your life. Oh, that's not how that happened. Oh, you just generalizing. You're just making excuses. Well, what about what you did before to make that happen? Well, I think you're embellishing the story. I'd like to see what proof do you have that it happened that way? I want some statistics. What report do you have that you can prove that that's how it happened? They want proof. You don't get no proof. I said it. That's the only proof that you're going to get. And that's going to be good enough. But that's how they do. Let me see what else I got here. The types of controlling people. Now, this is something somebody emailed me. I wonder where she got this from. I don't know. I don't know where she got this from. I printed out the email. Hold on a second. Yeah, they be lying. Dudes be talking about you call them or text them or something and they lie and say, oh, I was asleep. Nigga, stop lying. You know you wasn't staying, you wasn't asleep. Yeah, they do. They want all kind of, they want like notarized statements and from witness accounts and, fingerprints and, bullets and evidence or whatever, signed documentation and witnessed by 15 people and all kind of stuff, video. They want everything to prove something that you said about how you think or how you feel. Like it's not valid because of what they say. Their opinion about it makes it invalid because they want to be in control. They want to feel like what they know and what they're going to tell you about you is more valid than what you're saying about yourself. That's the part that kills me. It's like, so they know you better than you know yourself now. Like, clown, get out of here. So anyway, this piece here, yes, I am. This is apricot. So I'm back to apricot. But I got some key lime pie in there I'm going to break out tomorrow. This says controlling is someone who instructs others on who they are, how they feel, what to think, and how to act. Well, yeah, we already covered that. Because a person, they use the same tactics over and over in different environments, this author says. Here are 30 examples of things that they do. They're aggressive. These are different types of controlling people. Aggressive, physical intimidation, temper tantrums, bullying, verbal threats. Okay, we already talked about that. All or nothing. There are no shades of gray. The controller will recognize it's either their way or complete opposite extreme. Yes, that's true. Either you're fully in agreement with them or you're wrong. It can't be a compromise in the middle. You're either with them or you're wrong and you're against them. These are assumers. The controlling person assumes they know what the victim thinks without asking and refuses to accept any dispute to the contrary. This is when, you're sitting there crying, right? What's wrong with you? Oh, like I got cramps. It's hurt. Oh, it's not that bad. You just cry for nothing. Or you come home upset because you had a fight with, your mother or something. Oh, why, you just crying about nothing. It's no big deal. What you doing? So it's like they invalidate you. They try to invalidate you because they don't want to deal with the unpleasantness of your real emotions, because that's outside of the script that they have given you for the movie that is now your life starring him. Okay? You're off script right now, and that can't be. So he's got to denounce that, and you got to get back on program, which is smiling and looking happy, because that's in his script. That's what he wants you to do. Oh my God, these dudes are just too much. Attention seeking. Women do this a lot, but men do it too in a different way. Now, we were talking about this, how somebody posted a comment up on the wall, how like she'll be at the gym, and dudes do this all the time. They on the bus, on the street corner, whatever. They start talking loud, right? Because they want to, and then they start looking around like this, just being extra. Yeah, man, just extra loud, extra, animated, because they want to get attention. They want to see who's looking at them. The guy, this lady gave an example how she's at the gym, and these guys will always position themselves so that, so she can see them. They want to be in her sight line, thinking that she's going to speak or something. And then she said they always have to say something. She just can't just be on the machine and just doing what she's doing. They always have to interject themselves into her life. And that's another thing they do. Oh, man, just too much. Okay, then the blamer. The victim is blamed for nearly everything, while the controller accepts no responsibility. That's every brother we see online. Every single one of them is that part. The competitor. There's a constant competition the controller has set up between them and the victim, where only the controller knows the rules. That's an interesting one. Critical, overly judgmental attitude to evaluate the status of the controller and demean the victim. Well, we already talked about that too. And degrader, embarrassment, humiliation, and shame are used to make the victim feel small in comparison to the controller. And we already talked about that. It's like nothing you ever do is going to be good enough. You're going to be constantly jumping through hoops trying to please his ass. And all the time he keeps raising the bar, and just sitting there with his arms crossed and laughing at you while you run around and try to please his ass. I wish I would. Any disagreement is considered to be a challenge to their authority. The controller denies any problem they are unwilling to address, despite all attempts by the victim to bring the issue forward. Yeah, that becomes very frustrating. They're doing some stuff that you don't like. You try to talk to them about it, and they tell you it's not that bad, that you tripping, you made that up, they didn't say it, it didn't happen. So they're denying your reality, which makes it very difficult for you to resolve a conflict or a problem, because this person denies that it even happened or the problem exists. It makes you feel crazy. It's like, the problem happens, you're so upset about it, it happens repeatedly in some instances, and it's something that, you have examples, you have photos, this is that you might have some real evidence this time, and they still deny it. Well, that's not what that meant. You're taking it out of context. That's not what I said. You're confused. You have a bad memory. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do? But that's a typical thing that happens, because you're like, again, you're off script. You're off script, girlfriend. You got to get back on script. They guilt trip you. They try to make the victim feel guilty for thinking, speaking, or acting a certain way. Well, we already talked about that too. The historian, the controller, seeks out secret information about the victim to be used later as a tool for harassment when the victim is non-conforming. Oh my God. This is why I made that video. I actually made 2 of them about y'all talking too much. You got to shut up. Shut up. Stop telling these men so much of your business. Because soon as you do, they're going to be like, well, what about that time when you did such and such with so-and-so? Or you told me this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's designed to make you stop what you're doing, whatever attack you're doing on him, he's going to flip the script and start attacking you. So now you can't tell him about himself because now he's telling you about yourself and you are defending yourself based on information that you should never have given him in the first place. You set yourself up. You set yourself up for that. Oh, man. Passive aggressive. Um, they call it a pressure pusher. Constantly pressuring the victim to give in to the desires of the controller even after they said no. We already talked about that. The controller refuses to admit they understand the victim even after several clear attempts on the victim's part. They call that never agreeing. Yes, that is very true because that way they still get to get their own way. They still get to do things the way they want to because they can claim that they didn't understand what you were saying and they didn't understand what you were asking them. Or they get out of stuff too. Like you say, stop at the store and pick up this, or stop at this place and get that. Well, I didn't know that's what you meant. Even though you said it 15 times and gave them a list or a text or something, they still come back talking about, well, I wasn't sure, I didn't know, didn't understand. Whew, this is really interesting. This list is kind of interesting. I see some stuff on here that I'm like, what? That doesn't really sound very controlling to me. Another one is silence. Instead of acting out, the controller ignores, underplays, or disregards the victim so they become insecure. I talked about that with my ex, how he would do that, and how the women would be all placating and trying to suck up to him and stuff. Instead, I just left. And I just left his ass sitting there. You want to be moody and be all, you just silent treatment and all of those stuff. You can do that. I'm not telling you you can't do it because I don't like to tell people what to do unless they ask me for suggestions. But I don't tell nobody what to do. But I can tell you what I'm going to do, which is I'm not going to sit here and look at you look stupid and just have a bad Friday night because you want to be in a fucked up mood. You're going to be in that fucked up mood by your damn self. I'm out. Deuces. Okay, and then urgency. The controller insists on immediate action, not giving the victim enough time to think through a scenario. Yes, there's a lot of pressure. They want you to get, so that's when they start, you say, well, I don't know, let me think about it. Well, what you got to think about? Just do it. You just always want to just mess up something. I try to plan a surprise for you. I try to make this happen. I try to be pleasant to you. I try to show you love. And this is what you do. You just want to think about it because after you think about it, all you do is say no. What you got to think about? Okay, so by then he's made you dizzy. He used so many words. You're like, I don't know what's happening. And so then you just say, okay. But see, you didn't get the space that you wanted. You didn't get the time that you wanted. And that's how they do it. The next thing you know, you in a hot situation. That's also how they do. The dudes don't want to admit it, but that's also how they do when they be talking about, they want to go run up in you bare. They hit you with that. It's the pressure in the heat of the moment, right? You all excited, you about to get that. And then suddenly he don't want to use a condom and he starts pressuring you to do it. And it becomes, come on, it's going to be good. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be. And so then, problems ensue, of course, afterwards. And then he gets to play the victim. And I talked about this too. Oh, this is pretty amazing. A lot of what I said, examples I gave is stuff that they put on this list. The controller pulls out some traumatic event as continued justification for their behavior and refusal to accept accountability. And I talked about in the example, for those of you who missed it, I talked about the example of a man who had been hurt emotionally, like in grade school or something, and that's supposed to be his reason why he can't trust women and he can't love you. I remember this dude I met, right? And this dude, he was cute, and he had a really nice job working at Oracle and stuff. He was in the IT and all this old stuff. And we met, and we were talking on the phone, and he says to me, he's telling me about his past relationship where he'd been with this girl for like 10 years or something. I mean, just ridiculously at the time. And he's like, but I'm never going to treat a woman like I treated her. So, my ears picked up because I'm like, is this bad or is this good? He hadn't really made it clear yet. And so then as he kept talking, then he says, because, I used to buy her stuff and I used to take her places and do stuff for her and, all this stuff and get her some nice outfits and jewelry and everything. I'm never going to do that for a woman. I'm not even going to take a woman out. I'm not. Okay, so he's telling me all the stuff he's not going to do. Please explain to me why I would want to be in a relationship with somebody who's not going to treat me even half as good as he treated this woman that, broke up with him. I saw no point in continuing that conversation, so I was like, oh, look at the time. Let me get off here now. I have stuff to do early in the morning. I didn't have shit to do early in the morning, but I knew I wasn't going to be wasting no more time talking to his ass because there was nothing. He wasn't offering me anything. He was going to be offering me his heart. He wasn't going to be offering me nothing. Not a good date, nothing. And he flatly said that. And so when, I'm the one, when people tell you who they are, you need to believe it. And some of our friends were like, "Oh, he didn't mean that. He was just venting." I was like, "I don't know if he meant it or not, but since he's a grown ass man in his mid 30s, and he said it, I'm going to assume that he knows what he's saying and he meant every word of what he said." And so I left him alone, and that was that. That was that. He's mad because you called out 50-year-old men who date young girls. Well, yeah, we got to get these young men, these young girls to stop doing that. 50-year-old men are old if you're 17 or 20. That's old. That's your daddy's age. Some of them, that's their granddaddy's age. That is too fucking old for these girls. That is just too old. Yeah, that's old. That's like cradle robbing pedophilia. Ugh. That's gross. It's just like this just disgusting. Ew. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. The controlling aspect of relationships. And trust and believe if you have someone who's trying to control you like that, what you have is an abusive relationship because they are not respecting your boundaries, they're not respecting your differences, they're not respecting you as an individual separate and apart from them with separate needs, separate thoughts, separate goals, separate opinions, separate desires for what you want to wear and eat and friends you want to have, places you want to go, things you want to do. He's going to try to put down the things that you do. A lot of these dudes are so controlling. Like if their wives want to go back to school, they don't let them. If their wives want to have a job outside the home, they refuse to let them have it. They just like, no, you can't work. You have to stay at home with the kids. And so the woman is like trapped. I'm telling you, it's like a prison. The house becomes a prison where and then she can't really have people over because he's like, I don't want a whole bunch of folks up in my house, up in my business. And if she goes anywhere, like with some of her friends, and he's gonna be tripping about she's creeping out, meeting some man, and threatening her and with divorce or taking the kids and all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you, these dudes, man, when they want to get you under control, make you do what they want to do, they're gonna hit you where it hurts. And for a lot of you, it's your kids. They threaten to take your children from you, and you just go crazy. I'd be like, let me put a bow on these little motherfuckers. You take them. Cause I'm doing what I want to do. These are your kids too. They can live with you. Ain't nobody gonna starve or die or nothing. I mean, I'm telling you, when they do this type of stuff, you gotta call their bluff. But you guys get scared. You be like, oh no, he's gonna take my kids. He will soon give them back because he's not gonna do that. That's just a threat. And the most that he would do is take him and drop him off at his mother's house or something. I mean, he's not gonna do shit. And then you get a vacation. That's the way I look at it. Just hop on the nearest plane and go somewhere. Then just let him see that he's not stopping nothing. You guys, you cannot let these men run your lives like that. You cannot let them control you that way. It just never works. Yeah, that isolation, aggression, threats of aggression. Brothers like that, ooh, that's terrible. Yeah, these old dudes, they want a young woman because they want somebody who they think is going to be young and healthy enough when they hit about 70 to change their depends and, roll them over in the bed so they don't get bed sores when they old broke down asses. Oh, this is too funny. That's what they say. Old men have worms. They give you worms. I don't know. I ain't trying to be affiliated personally. And then I saw, they have them old, dried up, crunchy looking babies too, because they have old sperm. It's just gross. I'm just like, You tell them that you don't have daddy issues and to keep it moving. Oh, well, I'm going to tell you guys a project that I'm going to be working on. I actually been started sending it out. Um, I'm getting some video clips contributions from dudes. I sent this. I'm gonna put it up on my. You guys go on the community page of the YouTube channel. I've been posting notices there and some little memes and stuff. You know, nothing too much. But I'm gonna, if you're a subscriber, you should be getting notifications of things that I post there. And one of the things I want to post is um, I'm looking for contributions from guys. I want to put together a collage type video where the guys are talking about fatherhood and manhood and the messages that they got, the messages that they're giving their sons, what manhood means to them. And I'm already starting to collect their clips, and I'm going to edit them and put them all together in a video. It should be very interesting. I told you guys got a whole bunch of changes going on this channel. I'm just not going to be content to just do live streams. I mean, that was the next level, okay, but now we got to up the ante even more. And so I'm going to be trying a bunch of new things over the rest of this year. We only got 90 days, the rest of 2018, and then we're going to break into 2019 with a shoot like we on a football field or something. And I want to, expand the productions. I want to do a lot of different things, involve a lot of different people, and give you guys the best possible experience and education and different viewpoints that I can. It should be a very good, very interesting 2019 around here. We're starting early. But that's what I'm doing. So I will be posting the questions that if you know a guy that you think, it might be your own dad, a brother, a neighbor, a teacher, a coworker, whatever, that you think is an epitomizes manhood or has a really good grasp of what manhood is and he conducts himself well and this kind of stuff, then you can pass that information on to him and hopefully he would contribute to this project, and that would be good. I have this guy who works here in Oakland with the Fatherhood Initiative, who's gonna be giving me some quotes and some stuff from his team too. So there'll be some professionals that are actually in the business of developing programs, social programs for fathers, young fathers, and people are like, well, I thought this was a woman's channel. Let me explain how this works. You have sons, right? Don't you want them to grow up and be about something? Don't you want them to be a good dad so that if you had a sorry husband or they had a sorry father, that the drama would end there, that your son could break that habit? If you are a young man and you didn't have a good example of a father, don't you want somebody that's in a position that's great to give you some guidance? If you are a woman and you're looking for a man to marry to be a father to your children, don't you want to know what to look for? What kind of qualities you should be focusing on? That's why I'm doing this video. So I don't see where it's a loss at all. And women were like, yeah, but it's you're just focusing on men. What about women? What about this is for women? Because you the ones having the sons, you the ones looking for a husband, and if these men are ratchet and fucked up, you gonna be the one suffering from it. So from my perspective, this is gonna do nothing but help women. It'll help men too, but it's mainly just designed to help you. So you wanted your daughters to know what to look for in a man. What is a man? I mean, she grew up with no daddy. Maybe she don't know him. Maybe her daddy was sorry and stupid, and so she got a really bad idea of what manhood is all about. So I see nothing but benefits to this whole project. It's going to take me a while because, of course, once you have to depend on other people to give you stuff, then you have to, I'm kind of at their mercy. But what I would like to do, like I said, I'm going to post it up on the channel. And you guys, can copy and paste it or share it or whatever you want to do, and give it out to men that or women who have husbands and whatever. I mean, whatever you get it out there. But I would like to get their video clips back by next week, and then I can start the editing process. It'll probably take me about a month because I'm slow to get the clips from people and make them look like something. All right, but that's what we got going on today. And where's my thing? Here it is. Yeah, here we go. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And I'll probably be back on this weekend, maybe even tomorrow, to talk about something else very exciting with you guys. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. Check me out on Facebook. And there's my Twitter address and my Instagram right there on the bottom of the slide. I will see you guys tomorrow. If not, then Saturday. Okay? Bye bye.